So, as a relocation buyer, moving from an area where the home values are 2 to 3 times that of the Portland, Vancouver area, what is the current best practice in this post-high interest rate period of 7% or greater? Or even lateral buyers who have no current mortgage, looking to spend all or some of the proceeds from your departing residence, or buying a home and getting a small mortgage to fill in the deficit between the sales price of your departing home and your new home. These are all scenarios that are totally viable even in this high interest rate period. If these scenarios fit you, this could very well be the most important video that you will watch. Why should you see opportunity instead of catastrophe? It's Realtor in both Oregon and Washington. Remember to subscribe to my channel in order to get notified each time I make a new video. So this message is not for everyone, but for some, this is the best buyer's market we have seen in years. Okay, interest rates spiked up to 7% a week ago. You need my experience and knowledge of market trends to manage your expectations and make good decisions. Not just read the papers or watch the news, which love sensationalism about the worst performing markets in the United States. Sitting out the market in the Portland, Vancouver area, you could be passing up a huge advantage in buying your next home now. Okay, when interest rates spiked to around 5 to 5.5, that seemed to be the place where most buyers have paused their search for buying a new home. Showings have slowed to a crawl. I have a listing at $440,000 in Gresham that earlier in the year would have sold in a few hours or a few days. But after 3 open houses and 3 weeks on the market, it's not sold. At the open houses I've held since the interest rates went up to over 5%, we're seeing mostly what I call tire kickers and hobby home buyers who are just looking at homes but have no intention of buying soon. So what is the takeaway from this? Question mark. The buyers who are able and still engaged have a huge advantage in this market. People always want to believe that they are operating in knowledge and doing what's best and doing the smart thing. There is a segment of buyers who are in fact able and should act to have the biggest advantage and a stress-free moving process that has existed in years. If you fit the above criteria, you should not be afraid or discouraged. What I am telling you today does not sell news. And once the interest rates normalize, and at some point they will, and by normalize, I am talking 4%. That is the long-term average over the past 5 to 10 years. Our continued low inventory will again spike into a feeding frenzy. The masses of buyers have not gone away, no. They either now don't qualify for a mortgage that they did at 3% and have just been moved out of the market, or their tolerance for paying what homes cost right now has exceeded what they're willing to spend. So for many, they've either chosen to or have been forced to exit the market. So who am I speaking to here again? Primarily buyers who are selling a home in a city that has a median home price of 2 to 3 times that of Portland and Vancouver. This could be the Bay Area or from LA or even Seattle. In my past videos, I was advocating for buying your new home before you sell your old one. And we still see that with some really highly qualified buyers. But for the most part, that is not my advice at this time. My advice at this time is for you to put your home on the market, get it sold, and immediately put an offer on your new home. The cost and risk of having 2 mortgages at this time is much different than it was a few months ago. Just how does this process look? You should schedule a tour with me and decide exactly where you'd want to live. Let's tour some neighborhoods, get comfortable with the price points here. If you're local, you may already know this, but we need to view a few homes to verify that your expectations for what you want to spend are realistic to your goals. Then place your home on the market with confidence that you know what you're going to have to spend for your new home. Market time is up, but not exclusively. In extremely desirable neighborhoods with a really desirable home, we're still seeing some immediate sales of homes on the market. But realistically, we should set our expectations that this could take a few months in order to sell your existing home. So don't be in a hurry, but whatever time it takes, get a good solid offer on your home, get through the inspection contingency. At that point, things move pretty smoothly, and we can predict that your home will sell on the projected date. Then, ideally, you will have sufficient funds from the closing of your departing home to pay cash for your new one. If not, a small mortgage of, say, $100,000 on a $500,000 or $600,000 property will boost your purchase price without costing you an arm and a leg. As soon as interest rates normalize, my favorite mortgage broker likes to say, you marry the home and date the rate. And this is totally true. Vince, thank you for that one. The point is, high interest rates only last as long as the interest rates come down and you refinance to a lower rate, or just chunk down this high interest rate mortgage in a short period of time. If you have $500,000 in cash and want to buy a $600,000 home, that's going to cost you about $665 a month at 7%. So when you consider the reduced cost of living here, I'm going to project that you will come out money ahead by moving now. Electric rates are 1/3 of that in California. Washington State has no income tax. The smart money is locating to the Washington side of the Portland area, 15 to 20 minutes from the Portland International Airport. We have tons of water here, more water than we will ever need. So much of the West is worried about water for crops and for domestic purposes. In fact, we have cities on the West Coast that would love to put a pipeline from the Portland, Vancouver area to their community to supply them with water because we have so much, even in this time of reduced rain and, shall we say, global warming. We can debate the cause of global warming, and this isn't the purpose of this video, no, but the point is that we are seeing it get drier and warmer, and this is not a problem in the Portland, Vancouver area. We have tons of water, and we have a mild climate, so a few more degrees hotter isn't going to scorch us. We don't have natural disasters here. Look what happened in Florida. Well, okay. In 1964, and I was in grade school at the time, we had hurricane-force winds of around 100 miles an hour in the Portland, Vancouver area. In 1980, Mount St. Helens blew ash all over the Portland, Vancouver metro area. But this is about as bad as it has been in the past 50 years. So I'm going to say, as a rule, we are very safe here. We have abundant electricity. The Columbia River is one of the mightiest rivers in the world, and it produces tons of electricity. We don't have brownouts or blackouts here. Oh, sure, we have a windstorm and trees fall down on power lines and we're without power for a few hours while they make the repairs. But that's the only time that we don't have electricity here. The area is beautiful. There's no denying that. We have endless recreational opportunities here. We have a great mild climate. Not too cold in the winter, not too hot in the summer. Yes, we do get rain in the winter here, but that gives us opportunity to look forward to better weather in the summer. And by the time we get to the end of summer, this is October 14th, and we have had a month of 80+ degree weather scheduled for another 10 days. At the end of that 10-day forecast, we are scheduled to start having some rain and temperatures in the mid-60s. But after a long dry spell, I'm ready for that. And I am always ready for the fall rain, and I am always ready for the summer heat and dry periods. Everything is green here. Oh, you get a little brownout along the freeway where the grass goes dry, but the trees are all green. If we run the numbers and compare your current living expenses in one of these cities that are 2 to 3 times the median home price of Portland and Vancouver, I can assure you that you will come out money ahead by moving, even with higher interest rates, assuming that you're not financing 95% of your home purchase at 7%. But even if you do, I have one gentleman that's moving from east of LA and financing 80% of his home purchase at 7%. But this is a short-term thing. He can handle this temporary cash flow problem until his home sells in California. With lower property values come lower property taxes. And along with the lower energy costs, no state income tax in Washington. Again, the smart money is moving to the Washington side of the Columbia River. I can make the case that it makes financial sense for you to move here sooner than later. My client moving here from east of LA is having a new home built, and it will be ready sometime in January. But he's spending this time, he knows when he's going to be able to move, approximately. But he is decluttering his home, getting it ready for the market. He is packing up his stuff and shipping it up here to put into storage. And he can plan his move at a pretty leisurely pace. He was amazed at the projections for energy costs here. $150 a month or less in his Energy Star home. His current bill in California has been running him $450 a month. And his smart controller wants to override how cool he can set his thermostat in his home. He has been facing brownouts and blackouts. Again, we don't have this here. And the buyer's new home has a gas fireplace. And you can heat the majority of the home with this fireplace, except for extremely low, unusual temperature swing. So even in a power outage, he's got heat. He's also considering putting a solar system in his home, which will reduce his energy costs even more and provide him with power when the grid is down. Again, losing power is weather dependent only and has nothing to do with the capacity of the grid. No, we have plenty of power here. You use all you want. So what's driving the market right now? Let's take a look at this. I'm going to shift gears here and show you a screen with market data from today. Okay, if you guys want to see any of my 8 Portland, Vancouver area community real estate statistics, just come to my website, relocation-redefine.com. This is the home page. At the very top, real estate market reports. Hit that. You're going to get the reports. Camas, Ridgefield, Vancouver, Oswego in Washington, Beaverton, Happy Valley, Portland, and Tigard in Oregon. Go to Vancouver, for instance. Median list price topped out in June of this year, and it was right at $600,000. Now it's gone down to about $570,000. And this is kind of a normal cycle. Last year topped out in June, went down, and then about the first of the year it starts on its way back up. So there's nothing really statistically unusual about the median list price of home. Okay, next let's go on average days on market. Going to see the same trend since June. Average days on market have been going up. Last year in the through the winter, they peaked up to about 79 days, and then they came down until the interest rates spiked, and then they've been going up since then. But if you look over the past 3 years, we're still significantly below average days on the market for the historical 3-year period. Next, let's go inventory. Inventory's been really low, but we go back 3 years and it was up 767. The low period this year was in April, and then it started going up, and really went up above historical average from last year after the interest rate spiked, but now it's starting to actually come down again. So inventory is not historically high, it's still low. We consider this low inventory. So what is this telling us? We know that homeowners have great mortgages at 3% or less, and they have a ton of equity in their homes. Now, in 2008, when the bubble crashed, people didn't have much equity, and people didn't have this good of mortgages. There were people just walking away from their homes because their mortgages, the amount of money they owed on their homes, in many cases was more than their homes were worth. And so we saw a ton of foreclosures, homes coming on the market in that period of time. This is a totally different scenario right now. Like I say, super low, historically low interest rates, and also a ton of equity. So what's this telling us? Recent sales have been super low. The buyers have been priced out of the market either by they just don't pre-qualify at current interest rates to buy the homes that they could when the interest rates were 3% or less, or they've just decided that they can't buy the home they want at the current interest rates, and so they're just not going to buy.
And in many cases, first-time home buyers have been totally priced out of the market. So what happened? Let's look at this inventory. When prices hit about 5%, the market crested off, and then when it hit 7%, it crested off again. Buyers are telling us, and this is not necessarily reflected in this data, but it is reflected by my experience. Buyers are telling us right now that they are not willing to buy homes at 7%. The market action reports, if we go back to my website, they say 48 still seller's market, 40, 48, 39, 44, 36, 42, 49. These are still all in the seller's market. Anything over 30 is considered a seller's market, but my experience is telling me different. And this, what the market action index is a formula that compares inventory to the rate of sale. And the speedometers keep going down because people aren't buying, not because inventory is getting substantially larger. So what's this mean? This means that engaged buyers have a huge advantage right now. I don't see us moving out of this high interest rate pattern for a while. What they've done so far just has not affected the inflation rate like they had hoped. Economists are expecting interest rates to continue to rise in 2023. So again, these reports are super interesting and add a lot of value. I would encourage you to come to any of these reports and subscribe. Here you're going to have a little form to fill out. Once you do that, you can come here anytime and look at stuff. You can also type in anything you want. If you want to put in Boise, Idaho, just hit Boise, hit search, and then view report. Okay, there's Boise. You can view anything you want in the United States. One market that's really interesting, 97209. This is the Pearl District in downtown Portland. Look at that, 15. Crazy buyer's market. This is telling me that if you want to live in the Pearl, you have a lot of bargaining power in that area. So this is just an example of, even in the Portland area, how much the market action index can vary. So if I were making these statistics, I would probably score them lower than what they show, or raise the bar between buyers and sellers market. Like I said before, in my opinion, most of our markets are in a buyer's market right now, even though by these matrix it says we're not. My experience tells me otherwise. But it's good comparison, and the stats are valid. All these, you can follow these along and see how things have been going. Market action has been started out June 24th at 57 in Boise, and it's been going down ever since. Let's get back to Vancouver. Started out at 86, we're down to 48. Inventory went up, now it's just kind of flattened out. Median list price has come down a little. Average days on the market definitely up. Number of homes taking a price decrease is on the increase. Number of homes relisted, this means they're being withdrawn off the market for 30 days to get some fresh data. And I would recommend doing that in December if you have a listing that's a little bit older. Leave it off the market for 30 days and then relist it January 1st and get a brand new listing number that starts with 23 rather than 22. Median rent is also on the decline. So anyway, these reports are great. Unfortunately, they don't tell the whole story, because the other side of the story is how many homes are being sold, and that information comes from the MLS, and that's always a month behind. Interest rates have gone up in the last month, and that means that, sorry, the dog's squeaking a toy downstairs, and the grandkids are here. That means that the sales statistics are behind and worse than what they said that just came out last week, because it's a month old. Since then, it's gone from about 5 to 7% interest. I'm guessing that we are at 25% of a normal sales market right now in our market. So anyway, thanks for listening, and we're back to our regularly scheduled content. Thank you.
My recommendation is, if you are able, you should take advantage of the slow sales in the Portland and Vancouver area. Inventory is up. It's not as high as it was pre-pandemic, but it is up over the last couple of years. We have more options on homes to buy. There's less competition for these homes. We are not, as a general rule, seeing multiple offers. We are not seeing homes, as a general rule, go for more than the asking price anymore. No, in fact, both of the homes that I put into contract this month went in at under asking price because these are strong buyers with cash. And once interest rates go down again, the buyers who are waiting in the wings will be back, and we will be in a feeding frenzy for homes again. So let's take advantage of the current real estate market and use your better than average financial situation to your advantage. Statistics still point to us being in a slight seller's market, but my experience says otherwise. I have been experiencing a buyer's market recently. I have not had an offer rejected recently, and many times at less than asking price, because my buyers are ready and well positioned. So let's talk about how I can make your next move with less stress than the previous market could have ever delivered. I'm always willing to help first-time homebuyers, but the reality is the market shift in interest rates is not allowing anybody but the most financially well-off clients to compete or even pre-qualify for finance at the $400,000 price point, which is typically where first-time homebuyers want to be. So if you think you fit into the category of being one of these high advantage clients, let's talk about taking advantage of the current market. Call, text, or email me to start your own moving experience. I always work for a joyful process in buying or selling homes. So with that, peace be with you.